If you're a bass player and the modes confuse you, well, you've come to the right video. Because today I'm going to show you an alternative to learning the modes and a quick 3-step system that's helped my bass students learn bass lines a lot faster without getting confused or overwhelmed by complicated music theory. Now, I want to be clear in this video, I'm not saying that learning the modes is bad. I just don't think it's necessary to learn the Greek modal names when you're just starting out. When musicians use the Greek modal names such as Aeolian, Locrian and Phrygian, it may confuse a lot of beginners. Not only this, but I also think there are more important things to focus on at the beginning stages of your bass journey. So throughout this lesson, I'll be referencing the song Take It Easy by the Eagles. So today we'll be applying the 3-step system to this song, but you can use this system with any song in any genre. So here's a quick outline of these 3 steps. Step number 1 is finding the key of the song. Step number 2 is finding the parent scale. And step number 3 is all about the number system. Now, if you don't know what any of that means, well, I'm going to explain it in this video. So let's start with step number 1, which is finding the key of a song. Now, I actually have a YouTube video on this channel breaking down exactly how to find the key of a song on bass. So instead of explaining this here, I'll leave a link to that YouTube video in the description below so you can watch that video after watching this one. So moving on to step 2. Step 2 is to find what's called the parent scale. And you're probably asking, what is a parent scale? Well, the parent scale is the scale from the key of the song. It's essentially the scale from which all the other scales in the key are derived from. This could also be called the primary scale. So for example, if you're in the key of C major, the parent scale is just the C major scale. Let's apply what we've already learned to the song Take It Easy. So here is a chord chart showing us the first 16 bars of the verse. These slashes represent beats of the bar. Take It Easy is in 4/4, so we have 4 beats per bar, so there are 4 slashes per bar. I'll quickly play these 16 bars with a backing track so you can hear how it sounds, and then we're going to break down the harmony. Okay, so now I've played the bass part, let's do these first 2 steps that we've looked at. So step number 1, if you remember, is finding the key of the song. Well, this song is in the key of G major. Again, if you want to learn how to find the key of a song, the link to that YouTube video is in the description below this one. And step 2 is finding the parent scale. Well, because we're in the key of G major, the parent scale is the G major scale. Okay, now let's move on to step 3, the number system. This could also be called the Nashville number system or the Roman numeral system. The number system is simply where you assign a number to each note of the scale. So let's just stick to the key of G major, as that's the key of Take It Easy. So what I want you to do is write out all 7 notes of the parent scale, which in this example is G major. So we have G, A, B, C, D, E, and F sharp. Then you just assign a number to each note of the scale. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I want you to look at each one of these 7 numbers as chords. So for example, chord 4 would be a C chord. G is chord 1. Now with all this information, you can look at a song like Take It Easy and know exactly how the chords relate to the key of the song. And this is super important because once you understand how the chords relate to the key of the song, that's when memorizing songs and understanding harmony and learning songs really fast becomes 100 times easier. So what I ask my students to do is at the top of a chord chart like this, just write out the parent scale with its corresponding numbers below each note of the scale. Then look at the chord chart and write the number next to the chord. Don't worry about if the chord is minor or major. I'll tell you exactly how to figure that out in a minute. So we have a G chord here, which is chord 1. Then we have another G chord, and then 5 chord, going to the 4 chord. 1 chord, 5 chord, 4 chord, and 1 chord. So I'm going through this quite quickly, but you can do it at your own pace. And then we go to the 6 chord, 2 bars on that, and then the 4 chord, back to the 1, to the 2 chord. This is all in the key of G major, 2 chord, then 4 chord, and then back to the 6 chord. What this method will allow you to do is play this song or any song in any key. If you know all 12 of your major scales, then you know all your parent scales. Which means if the singer turned around and said, hey, I've got a sore throat tonight, could we play this song a whole step down? A whole step just means 2 frets down, so it would be in the key of F major instead of G major. You'll be able to do it, providing that you know your F major scale. This means you won't have to be transposing each individual chord, as you can just base everything off the one parent scale. And you don't need to know the Greek modal names. At this point, I usually get 2 questions. Question number 1 is, how do I know if the chord is major or minor? So if you're on the 4 chord in G major, which is a C, how do you know if this C chord is major or minor? And the second question is, how do I know what scale to play on any given chord? So again, if I'm on the 4 chord, the C, what scale do I play over that chord? Well, there's the theoretical way of explaining the answers to those 2 questions, and there's the quick and easy way. As I don't want to make this video super long, I'm just going to give you the quick and easy way to figure this out. Okay, so the answer to question 1, how do I know if the chord is major or minor? Here's the easy way to remember. If you're on the 1, 4, or 5 chord, 8 times out of 10 is going to be a major chord. So here we have a G major, a C major, which is the 4 chord, and D major, the 5 chord. I say 8 times out of 10 because it depends on if the chords are diatonic to the key. Diatonic just means are the chords in the key of the song. But if you just remember that chords 1, 4, and 5 will be major, and then the rest of the chords are minor, except the 7 chord, which is diminished, which I won't talk about for this video. So let's relate this theory back to Take It Easy. If we just remember chords 1, 4, and 5 are major, then when we're on the 6th chord, for example, in bar 9, we would know the 6th chord is minor, so that is an E minor. And to answer the question, how do I know what scale to play? Well, you can play the parent scale over all of these chords. So on Take It Easy, you can play the G major scale over all of these chords. The only difference is what note will you be starting the G major scale on. For example, if you're on the 2 chord here in bar 13, the scale you would play on this 2 chord is the parent scale starting on the 2nd note. So on this A minor chord, you would play the G major scale starting on A. So you can do it in a number of different positions, but the notes are the G major scale or parent scale of this song, but starting on the 2 chord or an A. Another example would be if you're on the 4 chord. So if you're on the 4 chord, like here in bar 7, you would play the scale from the 4th note of the parent scale. So the parent scale is G major. The 4th note is a C. So you would play the G major scale or parent scale starting on C. Now, the only way for these 3 steps to work is if you're able to do step 1 correctly. This whole process starts with how to find the key of a song. So make sure you watch this video next before you try implementing these 3 steps into your practice routine. So click the video that you can see on the screen now, and I'll see you there.